Turn off your bike by pressing the frame button. When the button has stopped being illuminated, you can then remove your batteries. Next, remove your display with a 2.5mm hex wrench. Unscrew the bolts in the 2-bar clamps to get it out of the way. Use a 5mm hex wrench to unscrew the M6 bolts on the top crown to access the wires behind the fairing. Unwrap and disconnect all the connectors. Just pull them straight apart, do not twist them. Once all the cockpit is free of anything connected to the main cable, dislodge the grommet in the frame to free up the main cable assembly. Use a 5mm hex wrench to unscrew the 4 bolts mounting the fender to the underside of the lower fork crown. Install your handlebar jacks, which are available at arielrider.com. To safely flip your bike upside down, be sure the area around you is clear and free of debris. Simply grab both brake levers to engage your brakes and walk backwards until your bike is upside down. You may want to stuff some rags into the slots in your battery tray, just in case you drop any hardware. Take the 4 screws out of the cover in the battery tray with a screwdriver to access your main cable from the inside of the frame. Using a 5mm hex wrench, take the 3 screws out of the upper battery tray and remove the tray. Use a 4mm hex wrench, then clip the zip ties to remove the underseat controller cover. Disconnect the 8 and 9 pin connectors that are connecting the main cable to the controller. Push the connectors into the frame while pulling the main cable assembly out from the inside of the battery compartment. You can now pull the cable free of the frame and replace it. Wrap the 2 connectors on the main cable assembly with electrical tape. Then push them into the frame through the rubber grommet, then down into the hole in the battery compartment. When you get them to the opening under the seat, you may need to pick them out with a tool. Finish connecting the rest of the connectors and tidy up the whole bundle to zip tie them back down to the standoffs located here and here. Return the underseat cover and screw the 2 M5 screws back in. Zip tie the cover in place. Return the upper battery tray. Secure the battery tray with the 3 bevel head bolts using an M5 hex wrench. Stuff the space around the battery tray with some rags to avoid losing the hardware when replacing the internal battery compartment cover. Slide the cover into place and use the 4 screws that secure the internal battery compartment cover. Be careful when running the cables under the cover so they are not crushed by the edges of the cover. Carefully lift the bike by grabbing both brake levers and holding them tight while walking the bike back over onto its wheels. If necessary, pause the video to reference which connectors are connected on the diagram. split the bundles left and right, plug in the light module to the 8-pin connector, and to the switches on the handlebars, plug in both the brake connectors, plug in the throttle, then wrap them respectively with the other cables near them, creating 2 separate sections. Keep the turn signals, the headlight, the horn, and the display unplugged until the left and right bundles are wrapped and neatly organized. Loosely zip tie the left and right bundles to the back of the fairing to the headlight stanchion. Finish plugging in the rest of the connectors behind the fairing. Press the rubber grommet into the frame and wrap the whole bundle with the remaining wrap. Bolt the fairing back down to the top crown. Plug in the display and remount it to the handlebars. When you're done, check that nothing is damaging the cables in any way. If you have any questions, contact Ariel Rider Tech Support.